Hey everybody, I just wanted to do a quick video update for you guys, basically kind of showing some of the new plans for the channel over the next few months, really. I don't expect to be doing too much brewing during this time, so instead I'm going to show some progress videos on how I intend to brew in the new place here. So I am currently in the basement of the condo that I am sharing with my fiance. So the way it works is this is a two-story building with a basement here, and the first floor is occupied by our neighbors, the second floor is occupied by us. But we share this basement, which is the whole footprint of the building, but it's split lengthwise, so we get the left half of the basement, basically. Now, this is a pretty solid place to brew, I think, and I'll explain to you in a minute as to why it makes more sense than just my kitchen. So the kitchen is great, but there's a lot of problems when it comes to brewing in a kitchen and sharing that with somebody else, and I'm sure many people know that. There's also not very good ventilation up there. It makes it a little bit difficult to work with the steam, and I also know that I'm gonna need to move my fermenters around and make sure I have my fermentation control and stuff like that. And I figured the best place for fermentation is going to be down here in the basement. Not only is it actually a relatively cool temperature, but also it just has more space. Now, I don't want to have all of my fermenters hanging out upstairs, crowding everything, and just, it's not going to work. So I want to basically set it up now so I can brew and ferment and clean all in the same spot eventually. For the moment, we are going to actually clean upstairs, but I'll get into that in a minute. So I'm going to turn this around and show you the basement here. So it's a pretty large spot. It's about, I'd say about 40 feet long, probably 40 to 50 feet long, and about 12 to 18 feet wide. I haven't actually measured it, but you know, we got most of our stuff down here. You get the washer dryer, laundry table, a couple storage items like a kayak. I got my squat rack back there, and the furnace and sewer stack. Now, I want to eventually set this up so that I can do everything in the same place, but we're going to go incrementally. And the other reason why I wanted to brew down here is because of this. So I have a 20 amp, 120 volt circuit here on the left, but on the right side is a 240 volt, 30 amp circuit, which is what you would need to brew with electrically for 240 volts. Now, that's a standard dryer outlet. It's a 1430 plug, and I can use that to work on most 240 volt systems. For the moment, I'm going to work on my 120 system, and that's why it's good that that's a 20 amp circuit here, because what I'm going to do is take that outlet, I'm going to splice it out, run it across the ceiling here, and I'm going to set it up on this back wall here. Eventually, I'd like to put my brewing station kind of in this area, because I can set up a hood up here and duct it out through this wall, and that way you can ventilate everything. I decided I'm going to run for about 1,000 cubic feet per minute fan in that hood, which is a lot, and it should be able to suck all the steam and odors out so we don't upset anybody who lives upstairs. Now, one note on that, I do need to make sure I open this window at the far end of the basement when I'm running the hood, simply because we want to make sure that while we're sucking all that air out of the basement, we're also providing return air so that I don't have carbon monoxide problems from the furnace, because that would be really bad. The other thing too is, I think I'm going to probably set up a 240 volt, 3500 watt induction burner, like hot plate type thing, that I can run from this outlet and set my claw hammer supply system on somewhere in this area to add kind of just like a boost to the heat during the boil. And I'm hoping that that will work. If it doesn't, I can use it for other things like a hot liquor tank later if I choose to upgrade my system. The other thing I want to work on here eventually is tapping into these hot and cold PEX lines and turning that into a basically a sink. I want to put a sink right here where this laundry cabinet is, and then I want to tap the drain into this pipe here. This is the drain outlet for the washing machine. If I put a Y connection there, I think I should be good to just run it right as is into the sewer stack here. The other thing is I will need to put a pump in under the drain of the sink, just to make sure that we actually can evacuate all that water. We don't have any issues. That'll probably be the last thing I do, since I'm not a really good plumber, and I need to kind of figure out exactly what I'm doing before I do that. But the other stuff should be able to handle just fine. So I'm really excited to see how this turns out. It's going to be a slow, gradual upgrade, but it would be awesome to be able to brew down here, ferment down here, and even maybe put some kegs down here and just have all of my stuff stored in this area where it's out of the way and I can actually brew kind of in a more conducive spot to brewing. You know, it's just something that's nice. I'm going to flip this around since I'm just talking now. But basically, I'm very excited to see what happens with this future space. It's going to be a brand new chapter for the channel, and I know that it doesn't necessarily make me the apartment brewer anymore, and I don't know, we're going to figure that out later. I'm not really into rebranding, but the whole point of it is, though, I am still planning on making these things kind of as compact as possible and being as organized as possible. That's kind of the whole secret behind apartment brewing in the first place. But we'll see. Not everybody can put a sink into their basement, and I understand that. But I do intend and fully intend on providing quality brewing content for everybody and continuing those recipes, grain glass videos, and all that other stuff that I make for YouTube. So I hope that that provides value to everybody, regardless of the area that I'm working in. Now, I think that's pretty much all there is to it for now. I will probably be posting some kind of generic update videos as this progress goes along. And of course, you will see the grain to glass videos as they come out. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how this works. And I'm, again, not a licensed electrician, not a plumber, not any actual certified tradesman. I'm just kind of working on my own knowledge here, that most of which is learned from the internet and my dad. So it's, I don't think I'm going to make this a tutorial video just so that nobody, ends up in a situation that is potentially harmful to them. So that being said, if anyone has experience making their own basement brewery, please let me know what your biggest, wishes were for it. What were your, the things that you ran into that were issues for you. What are things that I should be on the lookout for to avoid and be careful with? Let me know what those are so that I can avoid making those mistakes and provide myself a better experience. I have looked at a couple other series of brewery builds on YouTube here. Of course, there's Short Circuited Brewers basement brewery build. That's not one that I'm going to try and emulate. It's a huge one that is a little bit more permanent than what I'm planning on putting in. But also there's Matthew Ushman. He has a great channel called Trouble Brewing with Matthew Ushman, which is, he had a great series that he went through with building his own basement brewery in smaller kind of impact locations. So I kind of got a lot of inspiration from both of those. Let me know if there's any others out there I should check out, so that I can just have as much knowledge as possible going into this. Thanks for sticking around, guys. If you don't mind, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well. You know the rest. If you want to pick up a t-shirt, that would be awesome as well. I have a Patreon. My Patreon supporters are really helping out quite a bit right now, especially during the lull in brewing. It does mean a lot to be having that continued support. Also have that Amazon store in the description box where you can check out some stuff that I recommend that is available on Amazon that I worked with. And if the parts that I actually use for this brewing system set up in the basement actually work out pretty well, I'll put those in there as well, so you can see them for later. And last but not least, I'm also on Instagram as the Apartment Brewer. If you want to watch that, I'll definitely be tracking all of this on Instagram as well. Anyway, guys, thanks for sticking around. I really do appreciate it. And so, until the next one, cheers.